Hi, this is Trading Bitcoin. I am Leah Wald hosting for you tonight with Tone Vays. And I just have to admit, as soon as you see Tone's face, he is very proud of himself right now. So, yes, we are all freaking out about the price drop right now, and he will explain with his TA. But yeah, he's a little happy. So, just prefacing that way, Tone. Oh, yeah. Get out of here.
No, I'm not happy. Happy. Look, all right. But look, can't you all just buy your Bitcoin cheaper now? Isn't attending my workshops now cheaper for you because I'm still charging 0.1 Bitcoin? Though I will like increase the price if it falls a little too much, right? Because I gotta eat too. But no, it's we wanted to go live here. We are approaching 8,000 fairly quickly here. I didn't even realize it. I was trying to do some work and I'm like, whoa, Bitcoin just fell under 8,100. It's not good, and wanted to do a little more detail than we usually do in the morning. I don't know, any other intros, anything interesting going on before we dig into the charts here?
Yeah, I guess, with Bitcoin dropping this much, you can't even afford clothes. Are you not even wearing a shirt underneath that?
Maybe.
Okay. Jeez. All right, guys. Well, let's see if we can get some buyers. If someone can tell us what's going on. No, that's about it. Let's see what's the charts. Obviously, guys, today I'm looking for Q&A. I'll look in the Telegram group and also on the live chat. So
Yeah.
send your
Can we do some like intelligent questions for a change, guys? Please. It's yeah, and then we can definitely get to some of those. So make sure you throw those at us, and we'll get to the questions after we take a look at some charts. All right. All right. Let's do some screen share. Oh, Leah, how much time you got? I know you got.
I got.
Yeah, I know you have a life in the evening, unlike us. Crypto.
I'm gonna be a timekeeper for you.
All right, how much time you got?
Hour.
You got an hour. All right, cool. All right, we got an hour. I got to do work anyway. It's fine.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll keep this to an hour. Okay, here we go. Screen share, disclaimers, learn trading. I'm trying to help you guys. Don't follow other people's calls. I try to make the least amount of calls as possible. Learn how to trade, make your own decisions, trade your own money. Don't blame other people for your trades. That's the most important thing. I do have a website, Liberty Life Trail, will soon be migrated over to tonebase.com. And check this out. I do focus on section 6 a little more, which is time analysis and the sequential system. Please read all these links. They are very, very important. Then head on over to tonebase.com. Got a nice new homepage, new picture. There'll be a link for like a lot more pictures because I know everyone likes looking at me. So there you go. You can use those. And the workshops are slowly starting to fill up, which is great. People are registering for Dublin, London, Montreal is now open for registration. That one is going to be June 23rd. I'm going to do 3 workshops in a row. Enjoy it while the prices last at 0.1 Bitcoin. And because if Bitcoin drops too much, that can go up to 0.15 or even 0.2. So it's so enjoy those. We're gonna once we finalize Berlin, that one's gonna open up, and no date for Bangkok yet, but that one is in October. Vegas again, probably gonna be August 25th weekend. Maybe 26th. We'll get to that, and there'll be more in September and October. In September, there'll be a bunch in Europe as well. So just watch out for those. Indicator. If you are interested in using the indicator that you see on my charts, please check out the indicator page. Everything, no more like emails back and forth. Well, there'll be emails, but everything is now going through tonevays.com because of too many scammers. So this website is getting better and better. Definitely check out the frequently asked questions. Those are going to be important for you. And of course, if I go back to the homepage, the affiliates page. Again, if you like my work and you want to support my work, I'm going to be adding a few more here, like other, companies that I like and stuff. And these are, I try to make these discount codes 50% off for VPN service and stuff like that. Same thing with BitMax. And check out my video where I explain Bitcoin live. All right, I think it's chart time. Nope, that's Bitcoin live. Here we go. These are my charts. So here's the weekly chart. So what I've been meaning to do actually is, I know I keep comparing this to the Bitcoin of 2014. The only reason why I do that is because it's very, very convenient for me to compare it to the Bitcoin of 2014. So because I can do it on one chart, I'm going to compare it to something else. We're going to pick another bubble, and we're going to go ahead and take a look and compare it. Okay, so these hyperwave lines, they're actually incorrect because I was doing my hyperwave on a log chart. I was supposed to do it on a linear chart. So that's one of the reasons why my numbers weren't the same as Tyler's numbers. Well, maybe we'll get to that later, maybe on a different video. This one I'll probably remove as well. But anyway, so I continue to see the current environment as the environment of the same time back in 2014 days, except the current environment is actually a lot weaker than the 2014 days. See, in the 2014 days, right, we actually came a lot closer to the downward trend line before breaking above it. After we broke above it, we actually went and closed above the 30-week moving average. Then we had a very short time period where the 7-week moving average crossed above the 30-week moving average. It stayed that way for 2 weeks, okay? Also, after hitting a peak, after breaking out of the trend line and bouncing off the 50-week moving average, after we hit the peak, we spent, so the peak was, let's say this last green candle. Sorry, I guess I'm losing my voice. So after hitting the peak, let's say this last green candle, right? What happened next? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of borderline consolidation until the price started to deteriorate and broke back below the 30 and the 50-week moving average. If you look at the current picture of Bitcoin, from a technical perspective, forget fundamentals for a second. Forget fundamentals. From a technical perspective, we are significantly weaker, okay? So first of all, we did not, consolidate into the breakout of the trend line. We broke it. By the time we broke the trend line, we were already halfway up to the peak that we had 3 weeks ago. We didn't break out with a vengeance after consolidating between the 50 and the trend line. That's what happened back then. Back then, we kind of consolidated between the 50 and the trend line as we got to a point. That's what I was actually expecting for us, okay? That would have given us more momentum to go higher, but it didn't. So we were already like near the end of momentum. Now, we could not even close above the 30-week moving average, the purple line, 3 weeks ago, which did happen in 2014. The 7-week is not even coming close to crossing above the 30-week for a golden cross. We are now below the 7-week and we are what, about $400 away. So we are about 5% away from the 50-week moving average. If I had to compare the 2014 period of the same exact month to the current one, I would say the current one is significantly weaker from a technical analysis perspective. Okay, so just as a heads up. Now, what else can we say about the weekly chart? So you guys, I compared it to, did I compare it to NASDAQ or to gold last time, or both? Leah, you remember? You're younger. You have a better memory.
You compared it to gold.
Did I compare it to NASDAQ at all or no? I thought I did somewhere. Let's
Not on the double chart. You did the 2000, the two Bitcoin, 2014, and then you also looked at gold and you compared it to gold.
What do we want to compare it to? Have there been any like other bubbles in the last, decade or two besides oil? I can try oil. I can try NASDAQ. The financial. Let's do this. Let's try something different, right? This was not pre-planned.
Financial one. You're having fun.
I got an idea. Okay, so I'm gonna try something here. I'm gonna compare it to XLF of the financial crisis, the financial ETF. What do you think?
Financial select sector, the SPDR one.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, let's give it a try. Let's see what happens. God. Okay. So back in 2008, right. There's a 2008 crash. So it has to be at least weekly, right? Oh, it is weekly. Okay, great. Let's take a look. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, no, it's 2007. Okay. Yeah, so when does 2008 start? Oh, so there was already weakness. Yeah, by the time the 08 set in, it was already over.
You could do Cisco.
Hmm?
You could do Cisco. I think it lost almost 90% of its market cap during .com stuff.
I want to use something from the financial crash, though that one went down quick. Yeah, this one didn't. Oh, yeah, there it is. There's your secondary. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Maybe I'll use a monthly chart. Let's see how this goes. Let's look at the current Bitcoin and compare it to man, that's a rough top. I mean, it did top on a 9-ish. See, that was a secondary. I remember this. So you see this week, 2/26, 2007. This actually happened on February 28th. There was a $400 drop in the price of the Dow. The reason why I remember this day so well, it's either February 28th or February 27th. Sorry, guys, it's one of those days. It's the week of February 20. I can go to the daily chart, but I don't want to. So basically, this was my second day on the job at Bear Stearns. That's why I remember it so well. So the markets were just going up. And then on this was the worst day in the Dow since the 1987 crash. The worst single day in the Dow since the 1987 crash. Not even during the .com days did the Dow fall as much as February 27th, I believe. And it was my second day on the job. That's why I remember it so well. And then later on, I had to make a stress test for a risk portfolio for this, specifically for this day. So this was the first scare in the market, but it did go to a new high. It wasn't the kind of peak I was hoping to see here. But see here, the 7-week moving average crossed below the 30-week, but it immediately went back up. See how we bounced off the 50-week moving average? We then approached the 50-week moving average the second time. So here's your comparison to Bitcoin. Here is Bitcoin falling. It almost went to the 50-week moving average. It then bounced up. The 7-week moving average crossed under the 30-week. Now, the reason why this kind of happened was because of this one bad day. If this one bad day didn't occur, so I'm kind of gonna, like, if it just went a little too much and the 7-week adjusted really quickly, and this wasn't really the peak, the kind of Bitcoin peak had, but it's still close enough. So here's what I'm looking at. Now the 7-week moving average is dropping, and it went under the 30-week moving average, and it did not go back over. The price bounced off the 50-week moving average, went into the second death cross, and now starting to go back down. Now you see this area here? Now this is the first death cross, the second death cross. This part has not actually happened in Bitcoin yet, okay? So most likely, something like this is going to occur where the price dumps below the 50-week moving average. That would cause the crossover of the 30-week beyond the 50-week. After that happens, the price can certainly rally all the way back up. Look at this 9 buy right here. Beautiful, right? It's a 9 buy right off this candle on a weekly chart. Gets you right back into the 50-week moving average. Of course, if you bought right here at the peak, you're obviously in a very terrible position. But other than that, you could go back into the 50 and the 30-week moving average, but then the real trouble set in. Now, remember, the 2008 crisis is really, really bad. It was really, I mean, the XLF was a little too much. Maybe I can pick a stock that might have done better. I mean,
Solar.
Which one?
I sent you one. Well, I mean, solar, you know, oil and gas, like they got smashed. That'll be some fun one.
They did. Let me see JPM, because JP Morgan wasn't too bad. It was one of the better ones during that stretch. Because remember, they
Staples
were
still too.
Well, yeah. So no, it's damn, because of this damn double peak in the financials. Let me try oil. Oil is CL1. Where's the commodity? There it is. Okay, so here's the peak of 2011. That's not the one I'm looking for, though. I'm looking for the... Whoa, that was bad. That was just a straight up drop. Man, I'm running out of bubbles here to use because our history doesn't go back too much. Maybe Microsoft during the .com. MSFT.
Do AOL, because AOL was founded here in Washington, D.C.
Is their stock still trading?
Guess we'll find out. I think it was bought, you're right. But it should be up. Ted Leonsis and Steve Jobs. Yeah, Washington, D.C. We get one thing.
Right, there's your the bubble of 2000, right? Again, you do get, whoa, again, another nice 9 on the bounce, right? You really don't want this 30-week moving average to cross under the 50-week moving average, right? Because when that happens, things go really, really bad, and it takes a while. But this is how things bottom. Things bottom. Oh, that was a bit of a triple bottom. It's actually both of them, right? So this was a fairly significant bottom here. And then it got to the same area on 2 other occasions. And look, it got like basically dead and boring. It got dead and boring for years, where people forgot about Microsoft. It made its final low, and then, whoa, went even lower. What happened here in '08? Oh, it's the '08 crisis. Haha. And then it went up. This is how things bottom, right? They either bottom when they get really, really boring like this for years, and then Microsoft had a chance to go up into the '08 stock market high, and then it got dumped with everything else in the '08 crash, and then they bottomed like this, right? So again, here's Microsoft. You don't want these moving averages to cross over. Bad examples. I got to find some examples ahead of time. But in any case, I think you guys get the idea. This is how markets bottom, because Bitcoin got overpriced. Okay. Now I'm just gonna go back to Bitcoin. And to be honest with you, the best comparison I see in Bitcoin for the current bubble is the 2014 bubble of Bitcoin, as ironic as that sounds. And the more people keep saying how they don't look the same, the more likely it's gonna look exactly the same. You know what? Let me grab a question from people, and then we'll get back. We'll alternate question in between like different time charts.
You got it. You always say that the price is already in before something happens, but because those exchanges are open for everybody, could it be that we're seeing a fake rush up with futures contracts?
I'm not following the question. Maybe you can read it again and I'll listen better. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I can also skip to that one and come back to it. Okay, in 2014, we were more extended than now. Is it improbable that we don't need as big a correction and can bounce from 7K if we don't fall below the 50 moving average in the weekly?
Oh, people were asking me what I'm drinking. There you go. No, not a promotion, but that's what I happen to be drinking.
Harmless coconut water.
Yeah. Ooh, that's actually a good question. The answer is yes, it's possible. But remember, what happened in 2014? We fell from, it depends what price you want to use. The Mt. Gox price peak was $1,242. The Bitstamp price peak was around 1100, like, I don't know, 30, 50, I don't remember, right? I can go back. This happens to be Bitstamp. I can get you the peak in Bitstamp. I'm still amazed how it happened on a weekly 9. So great. So the price peak was 1163. On Gox, it was 1242. Now, the low on, here was the low, 152. So do the math, right? What is 152 of 1163, right? That's like a 90% drop, something like that, right? 85, 86. Do I have like a calculator here? Gotta have a calculator. Okay, so what is 152 on 1163? All right, so that's a 87% drop. Okay, so you're looking at an 87% drop. And how do you clear this? Oh, there it is. Okay, so so now if I do an 80, so what was the high this time, right? 19 what? 19.8? I don't want to, I guess I can just go and take a look, right? Well, let's get the exact numbers. So what was the high? 19,666 for you devil worshippers. So 19,666 times whatever that number is, so 0.87, right? So the inverse of that, right? So, and equals. Wait, No, the opposite way. 0.13. My bad. Don't do my don't let me do calculator math on live air. You know what I meant? An 87% drop, right? So it's 16. Can I just use that number? Oh, beautiful. Okay, cool. So that times 19,666. There it is, right? So if you take the exact numbers, right, Bitcoin should fall to 2,570. That would equal the exact drop that we had before. So do we have to go that far down? The answer is no. I still think that 5,900 could be 4,900 could be a very good potential low in the price of Bitcoin. But it depends how it gets there and how long it takes to get there, right? Everything is about price and time. People ask me at a meetup, like, hey, like how bad can this market correct? And the answer is weird, right? Like, for example, right, if Bitcoin crashes down to $1,300 this month, the bottom is probably in. Are we going to get back to 20,000 this year if we fall to 1,300 this month? Probably not. But if we fall to 1,300 this month and next month go all the way back to 5,000, am I going to be saying the bottom is in and you should probably buy Bitcoin? Yeah, I probably will be, right? On the other hand, if Bitcoin falls to, let's say, 5,000 or 4,000 slowly over the next 3 months, I'll probably continue to say that the bottom is not in yet, right? So it's all about price and time. So if we continue to fall slow, it may take a long time to do so. If we fall quickly and reach some price targets, then time won't matter anymore. Then we have already bottomed and we can start to go back up. The industry would be purged. On the other hand, if we continue to get stuck at current levels, the bear market could be dragged out for years. Okay, we just don't know. Everything is about there are price targets, there are time targets, and the market will, bottom out eventually when it's good and ready. If it takes enough time, maybe Bitcoin would get stuck at $5,000 for a year and nobody will care going forward, right? And then it can bottom and go up from 5K. So it's really anybody's guess. We just try and do the best we can. So what was the question again? I know I'm answering it, but.
Yeah, and then also you had a tip, but the question was in 2014, we were more extended than now. Is it improbable that we don't need as big a correction and can bounce from the 7K?
Right, but there's a flow at the question. When the person says we were more extended than now, does that mean we weren't more extended on the upside? I guess we kind of were if you take the entire 2013 into account. See, in 2013, let me go back there, right? In 2013, we actually had two bubbles. There were two bubbles in 2013. You have to keep that in mind. So if you take both bubbles into account, right, you went up from $10 to $1,100. So you went up 100x. So sure, we were more extended. If you only take the second bubble into account, we went up from about $100 to 1,100, right? So we only went up 10x. So the current bubble is kind of in the middle, right? The current bubble went up about 20x in a little over a year. Actually, it went up 20x in a little under a year. It went up like 40, 50x in a longer period of time, right? So the scale is a little bit different, right? But there were two bubbles in 2013. Remember, the first bubble went from 266 on Gox, but 256 on Stamp, and it bottomed out at like $50, okay? And this one has it as, oh wait, I still have that bar for some reason. Oh, wait, what happened here? Shoot, how do I get rid of that bar? There it is. Okay. Can I get rid of it? There it is. The low at 45 bucks, right? Then there was a secondary low at 63. So that's a long way down from 250 to the $50 area, right? 50 on 250 is an 80% correction. So we had an 80% correction. So it's hard for me to say that we were overextended to the upside because we had a full correction. In fact, the drop actually it didn't really overshoot, right? Remember, the prior weekly high was in the 256 area. And the close of weekly candles was at $163 area. And that's approximately where we fell to on the way down, right? So here, so this low is approximately where the weekly close was on these candles. The weekly close kind of still matter, right? So we did fall into the candle that made, there was two candles that made the first bubble top of 2013, and we fell into those candles. So in a way, we back tested the prior significant bubble. This time around, we don't have a back test of the prior significant bubble because the prior significant bubble was the $1,100-$1,200 area of 2013. We had some, mini bubbles, but they were nowhere near the level of 2013 itself. This is why I remain of the belief that 1,300 is very, very possible, because the prior two times you went up 10x or more, you back tested the prior area. However, the first bubble of 2013 never went back down to 10 bucks, right? But Bitcoin was at $30. Yeah, I don't have it on here, right? But Bitcoin did hit $30 back in 2011. So the drop down to 45 bucks was almost at its prior bubble peak of 2011, where Bitcoin was $30 at the peak. $30 in 2011 and $45 here on Stamp in 2013. Add 2 years of inflation there. We can kind of fudge it. Maybe it's up to 35. With inflation. And it came within a reasonable margin of error between the 80% drop from the bubble, the early bubble of 2013, down to the prior peak of 2011 that took place 2 years earlier. 2 years earlier, guys. Okay. And now it's been about 4 years since the 2013 peak. Is it possible that we come down to, let's say, $2,000-$3,000, and we consider that, hey, it's close enough to the prior peak, let's just let it go? Yeah, that could be true. Okay, so I think I'm going off on a tangent with this question, but let me make this chart bigger. Let's see. Oh wow, that fell fast. Holy shit. Is that me? Is that my fault? My bad, guys.
Okay, Tone, I'm gonna ask my own questions a little bit too. So first, can you look at the 3-day using 7 and 30 moving average, and you'll see why I'm asking this question.
Okay, so the 3-day chart. All right, let me go to the
30.
Let me go to the 12-hour chart. That's the one I've been flipping. Okay, so here's the little dilemma. Here's the dilemma, right? So how I say below this red line? I've already been saying it for like a week. Let me not change the back history. Below this red line, the selling should accelerate. It kind of assumes that we're going to slowly get to this line and then drop. It's a little trickier when you get to this line in 3 hours. Like, at this point, you're chasing, and I don't like to chase, right? So my assumption that the price should accelerate the drop below 8,000 kind of assumes that we don't exhaust getting to 8,000. And considering we just fell, what? Holy shit, is this today's candle? The high in the last 24 hours is 8,400? We were at 8,400 a few hours ago? Holy shit. So it doesn't exactly like, look, technical, this is why bots do a very rough job trading, okay? When I say the drop should accelerate below this line, you have to take that statement with a little bit of brain cells, in that it's less likely for the drop to actually accelerate below this line if it has just dropped $400 in 3 hours. Things don't drop forever. Things bounce. And I don't like chasing. I don't like catching falling knives. A perfect world for me would have been, a slow grind down to this area, preferably flipping on the sequential system. Red 1, red 2 that did not go below red 1, green 1, red 1. And then it gives you that perfect trade where a red 2 is crossing below a red 1 and this line with momentum. Like, this is the kind of candle I would want to see in this area here later this month after we got stuck here. However, this is still not good. I mean, I think that's because we just fell so much. Let me look at the lower level time frames. You want me to get to the 3-day chart. Yeah, so this is a little bit better. But again, like, if you traded the 12-hour chart, could have definitely jumped on the red 2 below the red 1. I mean, I've been waiting for this for a while. You see all these red arrows? All you see on this chart is red arrows, right? I had always expected this bounce to be short-lived. This candle that started it all with a $1,000 up move on a short squeeze, all of this was garbage in my opinion. This was not real. This was not real demand for Bitcoin. This was, overzealous bulls, overhype, everything. And all of these people are gonna, whoever bought here, they're all going to panic. It's just the way markets work. So we are now starting to see a lower closing low on a daily basis since this unexpected candle. Okay. Hey, maybe some people expected it, there was definitely some divergence going on. However, this I'm expecting the same candle in reverse at some point because this was supposed to break down. This was supposed to go into this triangle and break down or something, or get stuck here and break down. Okay. I never went away from my bearish views on the market then. I'm sticking with them now. Not ideal, not great, but and you know what? I was such a punching bag throughout this entire zone that you guys better eat it now, okay? So that's all I'm gonna say. All right. Yeah. Oh, 3-day chart. My bad. Oh, wait, I didn't get
3-day using 7 and 30 moving average. I see a death cross.
All right, let's do
What's going on? And then you have a tip, and I will ask that one next.
All right. 3-day. Let's do it. Oh, wait, I'm on a daily chart. Didn't want to mess with that one. I want to mess with a 12-hour chart. All right. Here's your 3-day.
Wait, Tone, 7 and 30 for moving averages. You have 50 and 200.
Yep. All right, let's do it. 7, 30, and what, 50?
Just 7 and 30, but sure. You can throw on a third if you want to make life more complicated.
Yeah. Where's the other one? Where's the 50? Am I missing something? Is one moving average not working or something? Oh, there it is. Oh, unchecked to remove the long. Okay, got it. Yeah. Well, your 3-day, gave you a beautiful trade. Several, in fact. The last 3 nines have been gorgeous, right? The 3-day 9 got you in. I mean, you get out. I don't know. Your call, stop loss would get you out. A red 2 below a red 1 got you into a short trade. That short trade should have been exited off of this 9 somewhere in this vicinity, at least with some profit. And a red 2 never went below a red 1. A red 3 never went below a red 2. So a secondary short trade was never on the table. A long trade could have been executed a green 2 above a green 1. The 9 got you out of that trade with a beautiful profit. A red 3 went below a red 2. If you didn't short off the red 9, off the green 9, sorry. If you didn't short there and you waited for confirmation, that took place, 3 candles ago with a red 3 below a red 2. And you're making new lows now. You're getting another, that's not really a depth cross, right? That's actually a golden cross. Your 7 is oh wait, which one is the 7? So, the 7 is red. Okay, I got the colors backwards, right? So, yeah, you're getting your depth cross. There's your 50. There's the blue is your 7. The orange is your 30, I guess. I'm gonna make the colors the short is gonna be, what was I using for the short? Orange, medium is purple, and long is blue. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I mean it's doing it, and your problem was this, right? It's the look, you go under the 50. This looks a lot like those financials from 2008, right? You bounce back near the 30, but the 30 was already starting to cross into the 50. Right, so all your moving averages as of today's candle, all your moving averages are below a higher level moving average and trending down. I mean, look, this is a bearish environment. Look at the last time this chart had the moving averages in the same posture was here. That was the week of March 8th, and Bitcoin fell. Bitcoin started that week. It opened at 90. Where did it open? It opened at 9,900. It opened just under 10,000, and it went all the way down to 6,500. So it lost 30%. The last time you had all 3 moving averages declining, and this is even a worse situation because at least then your 30 was above the 50, but now your 30 is below the 50. So it's actually even worse. It's in a more bearish posture here. Now, granted, there's only so far down it can go, but it's not pretty at all.
How confident are you that the 50-week moving average won't bounce the price is the question.
On what time frame? The 50-week moving average is way above the price on this time frame.
This was back.
Oh, sorry, the 50-week. 50-week. Okay.
Sorry, 50-week moving. Yeah.
Right. So, how confident am I that it won't bounce it? I mean, it can bounce it short term, but the more times you hit a support point in a constrained amount of time, the weaker that support point is. So it's up to you to decide if on a weekly chart, 4 months, is a constrained amount of time or a long amount of time? To me, it's a pretty constrained amount of time. So can it bounce it again? Of course it could. But sooner or later, the 30-week is going to turn. The 50-week is going to flatten. And if the price jackknives between these two moving averages for the next 3 months, eventually it'll come to a point and drop like a stone, the way you saw the financials do as I pulled up that chart earlier. Is this the financials? Let's try the financials again. Right, like if your asset kind of just gets stuck into this like triple crossover, and the crossover comes, sure, you can have one more bounce into the moving averages from the bottom. But you see how at this point, right here, you have the 7 below the 30, below the 50, and they're all declining. Now, of course, the price kept going up into the moving averages, and then it all fell apart, okay? So this is what you got to be careful of. Do I think Bitcoin, Bitcoin will survive this, right? I mean, it's just market. It's unfortunate, but it happens. If you were there in 2014, you know what it's like. It's not pretty. Not pretty at all, but survivable. We made it, right? Not all of us. Not everybody made it. Some people left and rage quit. But some of us made it. Some others, started scamming by creating altcoins, or hard forks. People don't handle bear markets well. You you really need to be at peace with the underlying technology. And how many people thought that the world was going to end in the 2008 financial crash? And look, most of the banks are still with us, right? Wells Fargo's still here, Bank of America's still here, JP Morgan's still here. Many failed, but many are still with us. And at all-time highs, by the way. Maybe not the banks, but all the other sectors are.
There was some external influences there on those ones, but correct. All right, let's go to your tip really quickly. It was a $15 tip. Can you compare, this is quite different, but can you just quickly compare the charts now to back when the Silk Road was shut down?
That was a non-event as far as the price goes. I remember it very well. It was just 2 days. It was a 2-day drop, a 1-day drop even. So here's the daily chart. It was October 1st, 2013. There it is. There's your Silk Road. All right, there's your Silk Road drop. Look at this volume. Look at this wick. You don't even see the wick. Look at the wick. Okay. So the price opened that day at about 125 bucks. It fell down into 80. It looks like $83. All right. So it went from 127 to 83. So that's what, about 40 bucks on 120. So that's a third. So we fell 33% in 1 day. But look, we recovered half the fall by end of day. The following day, we recovered 80% of the fall. And then within 2 weeks, we were at new highs, not all-time highs, because 266 from April was the all-time high at the time. So this is not comparable. This is like a 1-day event where people panicked for no reason. Now, I saw a comment earlier And I'll read it. I pasted it in the chat with Leah. So people have been emailing me or messaging me about Andy Hoffman's latest video or audio where he's starting to do like altcoin consulting kind of thing. I mean, I don't really care what other people do. There were, however, two very interesting comments that I felt that he said. I didn't watch the video because enough people sent it to me that I had to pay attention. Where is? Oh, here it is. Okay, so let me just. I wanna quote exactly. Hey, Leah, we can bring Tyler into this if you like, if he's not doing anything.
Yeah, potentially. And I do have a question for you before you bring up Andy Hoffman, if that's okay.
No, this will be very quick.
Okay.
Hold on, let me just want to grab the two quotes, right? So here are the so here are the quotes, right? So he said a successful Bcash fork. So that statement bothers me a little bit. And he also stated, in my role as an altcoin developer consultant. I mean, that's fine. I mean, people can do what they like. I don't really care. But I'm trying to remember how I got on this topic. Wait a minute. Oh,
a lot of people were saying stuff about Andy Hoffman, and you.
Right, but there was a reason why I brought that up. Trying to remember.
He was talking shit about.
Oh, okay. Here's why I brought it up. Here's why I brought it up. Right. So in that, in his piece, right. So in his speech, he talked about putting a lot of blame on Kobayashi, the Mt. Gox trustee that was selling Bitcoin, and I think that is wrong. Okay, so the Kobayashi guy, I believe he sold, I don't know, he was selling them at 6,000 at a time. He did about 6 or 7 sales. I think he sold about, I don't know, 40,000 Bitcoin, 40 or 50,000 Bitcoin out of, I think, like 200 something thousand Bitcoin that they have. And he's not even supposed to sell the rest for now. So again, like, so much blame is put on that. Do people realize that the feds confiscated 400,050 Bitcoin in the Silk Road bust? It was over 400,000 Bitcoin at a time when there were significantly less Bitcoin in circulation, at a time where the exchanges had significantly less volume, okay? And the amount of Bitcoin that the Mt. Gox trustee has is not that much. I mean, in 2013, we dealt with this. You can even Google it, right? Hold on. Silk Road Bitcoin bust, right? I know it was only $28 million, but in terms of Bitcoin, it was a lot of Bitcoin. Let me see here. I think it was like 400 something thousand Bitcoin. Yeah, this was one of the auctions, was for 144,000. They confiscated a lot more than that. I don't remember the exact number. Maybe someone in the live chat will Google and let me know the number, right? Like, this is not, I mean, Bitcoin has had bigger confiscations of Bitcoin that needed to be sold. Now, the US government was smart enough to sell it at an auction and not at an open market, but hey, that's Japan for you. All right, let's get back to you, Leah.
Okay, great. I like this question. Can you provide some examples of divergence between the oscillators you like and the price action?
Examples?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I gotta look for something. I'm not ready with this. Gotta go to a lower level time frame. We go to the 4-hour time frame. That's the 1-hour time frame. We can look for divergence in a 1-hour time frame. I mean, no, a 4-hour, because I have more movement. I have more indicators on the 4-hour one. All right, let's make this bigger. Look, we had divergence here, across the board. And I mentioned it, right? And other traders mentioned it. Like here it is, right? You have made a significantly, if I zoom out, right? You have made a significantly lower low right here in weeks on a 4-hour chart. And look at all of your oscillators. They were all increasing into this point. Here, here, here. OBV was kind of flat, okay? So this is divergence, where your price makes clearly a lower low, but your oscillators are clearly higher. And then once it reversed, we went up, but when we were not able to make a new high, it ends badly because now you're gonna, all of these lines, all of these up moves, the RSI has already broken to the downside. The MACD and the CMF haven't yet. And the OBV was basically neutral. Oops. Hold on. Oh, I can't do that. Hold on. The OBV, it was flat, but it's going to break down, okay? Coming up. So here's the bad news, though. The bad news is that, I mean, this is coming down. This came down hard. There can easily be one more bounce. You see this? You see this, this, and this oversold? I can see these repeating. And OBV going significantly lower, right? Back to these levels. So on the 4-hour chart, we've been lower with higher metrics on oscillators. Not all of them, but some of them. This was a pretty big sell-off. Let's see if it happens again. Now, you could make a nice divergence again. If we fall pretty hard, make another low at like 7,500, and then this line would look now like this. That would set up for another nice set of divergence. It will be like a higher lows. RSI will not do that, and OBV will not do that, but these two will. So the more oscillators are on your side, the better off you are, okay? So that's what you're looking for in cases of divergence. All right, next.
Yeah, and I think this may be your last one. You can have fun with this one. A couple people have asked this one. If Bitcoin does go to historic lows like 2000 or so, will the alt suffer justice?
We gotta get a actual. You need to work on your definition of what a historical low is. 2000 is less than a year ago, for God's sakes. All right, let's move on.
Will the alt suffer just as much?
I hope they suffer more. They should suffer more.
Why don't you pull up one against your chart?
I don't know. Pick it all.
It's your favorite right now.
Which one?
EOS?
Oh, Jesus. All right, let's pull up EOS.
Are you able to chart against each other on TradingView?
What do you mean?
Throw two on one.
But EOS and what?
Bitcoin.
Next to each other? Well, no,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm charting
different
EOS,
verticals.
but I'm charting EOS against Bitcoin, right? If I would do them next to each other,
Yeah,
I could do them against the US dollar. It makes no sense.
Do it.
Is this my only EOS? I only have one EOS. EOS is looking good. I mean, what do you want me to say? It's looking pretty strong against Bitcoin. Huh. So this is the weekly chart. It almost made it to a 9. Let's look at the daily chart. I mean, EOS is looking pretty strong. But again, EOS is the new kid on the block, right? I mean, everybody wants to be scammed by the latest coin. We should probably look at Ethereum instead.
Do it. And then your last question, someone is saying that there's bullish divergence on the RSI on the 1 day, if you'd be willing to look at it.
Sure. Well, you can't have bullish divergence on the RSI because you have to create a low first, right? Like you need to reverse in price noticeably, right? Because the price can keep going down and your divergence will no longer exist, right? It's not simply you've made a low because you can always go lower. You have to the price has to reverse and your oscillator has to reverse. If the oscillator is decreasing, it doesn't count. So we'll get to that in a second. All right, I have Ethereum daily and Ethereum weekly. It's taking a while. I'm not downloading the Ethereum blockchain. Come on, people. Which is impossible, by the way, just so you all know. Oh, wow. Is this Ethereum weekly? It bounced on a 9. I'm sure I mentioned that, that a 9 was coming. And I mean, again, Ethereum held up reasonably well. The altcoins are holding up while Bitcoin is taking a little bit of a dive. I mean, it's still bad for Ethereum. You do have this trend line that's not exactly going away. Best fit line, you know, wicks and body. I mean, we'll see if it gets to a 9. You have your setup trend line here. It's a weekly chart. I mean, Ethereum don't look half bad from a technical perspective. Can the alts just fall apart? Sure. I mean, here's the wild card on these alts. Regulation. This wild card doesn't exactly exist in Bitcoin because Bitcoin can't be a security. Ethereum, EOS, they all could be securities. And then you guys are not sitting as pretty, I'll tell you that much. Let's look at daily. Daily isn't doing anything, kind of flat, kind of useless. But look, I mean, this is all you need to see. Bitcoin is having a very bad day. And you can see how alts like Ethereum, like EOS, probably. This EOS? Yeah. Daily. Yeah. So you see how Bitcoin is having a very bad day and altcoins are having a worse day. Here's a really bad day for EOS on 430. What did Bitcoin look like on 430? Kind of over here. Okay, so not exact correlation. But like Bitcoin is having a very bad day and Ethereum is having a worse day. I mean, that kind of should tell you, right? Like when things get really, really bad in Bitcoin, altcoins will probably do a lot worse. When things are looking pretty damn good in Bitcoin, alts will do a lot better. Like the correlation between alts and Bitcoin is very different in times of stress and FOMO versus in time of low volatility. They're very different. Like in times of low volatility, you're probably going to have a negative correlation, like a negative beta to Bitcoin with the alts. So Bitcoin goes up, alts go down. Alts go up, Bitcoin goes down. But in times of stress or FOMO or panics, your beta is going to be greater than 1. So during FOMO time, alts will probably go up faster than Bitcoin. And during crashes, alts will probably fall faster than Bitcoin. And they're going to be positively correlated, not negatively correlated.
Great. I think that's it. Any other last statements on the fact that what are we sitting at right now? It's the exact price.
I don't know. 7,000. No, not yet. We're back above 8,000.
That's doing FUD.
So look, considering we just fell $400 in a couple of hours, here's the 4-hour chart. We have fallen. What do we fall here? We have fallen about $400 and change, almost $500. What was the high? 83. So that was probably 84. What is this? Midnight, right? So today's the 20. Okay. So since midnight last night, midnight UTC time. So since midnight UTC time, we have fallen almost $500. It's probably due for a little bit of a bounce, okay? But I do not expect this bounce to go above 8,300. I expect us to eventually break down under 8,000. And if we're breaking 8,000 after some consolidation, expect another $500 drop in under a day. But right now, do I expect a $500 drop in the next 24 hours? Probably not, because things don't go down forever, okay? So I am going to draw another arrow here on the 4-hour chart, and it's going to be like this. But I'm not expecting it immediately, probably even a little bit later. It can happen now, but I'm not likely, okay? I think we overshot a little bit to the upside. Because we overshot a little bit to the upside, I mean, I expected us to kind of go down from here. I expected us to go down from 8,300. We went to almost 87. So because we overshot to the upside, it's possible that there is, like a head and shoulders kind of thing going to happen here, okay? Because things don't go down forever, just like they don't go up. So because we overshot a little bit here, means we're probably not ready to fall down to 7,600 quite yet. Might take a little more time and then a drop. All right. On this note, I will go ahead and call it a day. Once again, if you guys like my work and you like to support my work, please check out the affiliate and referral section of my website and sign up for these products or services through my links. Also, check out the workshops. London is filling up quick. London on Saturday, June 16th. Ireland, Saturday before that. And then Montreal the Saturday after. Okay. So go ahead and check these out. You can register right on the website. And also the indicator. If you're interested in using the random number generator, here's the website that explains it. And you can inquire through this form. And go ahead and do that, guys, for those that are interested. It's just a much more standardized process. All right, there's my homepage. All right, Leah, thank you so much for joining me and looking through the nonsense questions and picking out some good ones.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a thought, right? Like maybe a lot of people are selling their Bitcoin for fiat to buy pizza today. I mean, it could be.
Yeah, maybe.
Your favorite, True USD? Maybe there's just more action on Binance today. All right, at least I got you smiling on that one. Okay, Everybody, thanks so much for watching. I'm sure that Tone may come to you later with what else is up, but yeah, we're in a drop. Everyone have a great night. Tone.
Yep. Bye bye, guys. Sorry for being the bearer of bad news.
Bearer, was that intended?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, bye.
Bye, guys.